Spiritual Living in Monterey, and we welcome you here in the sanctuary and those joining us by Zoom and Facebook and YouTube. Welcome. It's my honor to introduce our guest speaker this morning, giving honor to our senior minister, Reverend Robert Collins, who is traveling the world. He is at a meditation seminar, I believe, in England this time. Italy? Italy. Reverend Robert is in Italy, so we are blessing him and giving him traveling grace. We miss you and we love you. And today we have my cousin and yours, Reverend Tony Bradford. And here's a little about Reverend Tony. He's a dynamic, humorous speaker, gifted teacher, and a compassionate counselor. His messages are inspiring and relevant to today's world. A native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Tony attended Pennsylvania State University, earning a bachelor's degree in textile and clothing and marketing. Reverend Tony earned his master's degree in consciousness studies at the Holmes Institute and became a minister of religious science in 2012. Reverend Tony's calling to serve is evidenced by his extensive experience in community engagement, working in HIV prevention, education, and care in communities of color. He worked for the San Francisco AIDS Foundation as an HIV/STI prevention program manager for over 10 years, from 2003 to 2013, serving the African American gay community in San Francisco. He also served as an associate director of community events and engagement for the San Francisco AIDS Foundation from 2016 through 2021. Reverend Tony is an outreach staff minister for our Centers of Spiritual Living here in Monterey, serving the Palm Springs area. This supports Reverend Tony's desire to help and serve the Coachella Valley as a speaker, mentor, and spiritual advisor, providing much needed support and guidance as a member of the Brothers of the Desert. So, please put your hands together to welcome my cousin and yours, Reverend Tony Bradford.
Good morning, and a warm blessing from Palm Springs to my Monterey Center for Spiritual Living family, the dancers in the center, and those on Zoom, Facebook, and a lot of you who will watch this service later. I'm excited to be here with you. I was hoping to be there in person in the sanctuary, but I know by the end of the year, I will be in person in the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, the beautiful place. So I'm glad to be of service today, this morning, and included in the spiritual team that's holding the high watch at Monterey Center for Spiritual Living and sending love across the pond to Reverend Robert as he enjoys his vacation. So again, thank you to Amber, my cousin. You're all cousins too, just remember that. Sandy for her opening prayer, and I think it's Christy and Denise behind the scenes that's making me sound and look good today. So my talk today, I am excited to be the anchor of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living Olympic Ecclesiastical Spiritual Relay Team. Reverend Robert started us off the first Sundays of July with our theme. The first leg, he was coming around really good. He handed it off to Cindy, and she carried it almost home. And now I'm going to cross that finish line. And we're going to wrap up July's theme with my talk, Perfectly Imperfect, and just the expansive experiences that I have and that I use as my spiritual tools to help me through my life's journey. My charge in speaking, I'm going to tell you about things how I've used this stuff in my life. And I love when I go hear talks or hear people speak, and they give me tools, they give me tips on how I can encourage and work that in my life. So that's sort of what I'm here to do today. So sit back, listen. If you remember in the old church in the pews, get your pencil out, get your little notebook, and take some notes. So you'll have something to refer to when you get back. So I want to touch base, first of all, on the spiritual tools listed this month. And I have been using them and prepping for this talk and then helping and encouraging my own self with a lot of these special tools that are listed from the home office for us to use this month. The first one is, you can't see, it's the book, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. This is the 10th anniversary issue. It was a #1 bestseller. She sold over 2 million books. This is a repeat, or like I said, a 10th anniversary issue of it, and her life has changed and got a lot better. What a wonderful book, great reading, and I have been reading it this month in my doctor's offices, and I'll tell you about that later. So the second piece that I wanted to say is, the inspirational reading that was read from Ernest Holmes. Sometimes we forget that there's so many inspirational thoughts, readings, quotes from Ernest Holmes, and this one just hits home this month. So again, I encourage you all to look it up again, Ernest Holmes from his Love and Law, and it's page 57. And at this point, if you don't have the book that it's in, go to Google. Miss Google is fabulous. And lastly, my two favorite revs, Melissa and Z. I was in ministerial school with both of them, and I love how they are taking their ministry to a different level. It doesn't look like the old school. It doesn't look like the old church. It doesn't look like some of the dogma and music that you hear recently. Melissa is her own wonderful person, and now with Z, they've now conquered a whole nother generation of folks that's listening. So moving on to tell you a little bit of how I prepare my talks. It is such a wonderful opportunity for me. I sit in my room and I start to think and pull up thoughts and quotes, and my room turns into a whole spiritual floating being. Even the cat got excited and kept jumping on my computer. So one of the things I start with, and it helps me to focus, is I go to Wikipedia. So if you haven't used a dictionary in a long time, or Wikipedia, you can go online. And I wanted to start with some definitions. And again, everything comes to you when you need it. And I want to share that with you as it preps me for some of the experiences I'm going to talk later. So the word impractical. What is that? So the dictionary defines it as not adapted for use or action, not sensible or realistic. And you'll love this. The quote that they used, she had on impractical high heels. Excuse me, it might be impractical for some people, fashionable for others, or you just want to be taller, but that's a judgment. That's not, it's realistic to some people. So similar words, unsuitable, not sensible, inappropriate, unserviceable. How many times has your friends and family told you those things about you finding religious science and science of mind? My sister always says, that thing you do up there at that place at the top of the hill in Oakland. So the opposite of impractical, practical, sensible, fills up your spirit, your heart, my mind. Wonderful ways to twist that word impractical and realize, like, you know what? I think I got this. So the next word I looked up is imperfect. So the dictionary refines it as not perfect, faulty, incomplete, an imperfect grasp of the English language. And again, look at some of the new words and the new I can call it slang that have been added to the dictionary for the last 30 years. It's not our grandma's English that we all wrote cursor is what the word is, language in middle school. It is now all the wonderful words and sayings that are around the world that really get you to wherever you want and define a lot of things that we took for granted as we learn the English language. Faulty, flawed, defective, shoddy, inferior, lacking. I mean, I can't tell you how many slang words that, somebody said, well, no, that's not what you use. My favorite word is, what is it? When they put an S on ain't. Drives me crazy, but you know exactly what the kids are saying. So the opposite of imperfect, perfect, complete, fluent. You work it, you focus on it, and you pay attention. Those are the wonderful words that we learn here as practicing religious scientists. We know that everything around us is perfect. So when somebody tells us we're in fault or we're not following the dogma or the lesson of something that we are wrong, guess what? It's all God. So let's talk about a couple of tools that I've used, and I'll start with my story or where I've been the last year. So my health journey has been a little enlightening, and what I say is that everything has been for my highest and my best good. I have history, and this is family, a history of heart issues. My mom, my older sister, lots of cousin, nephew, everyone passed on and made their transition before they were 50 of heart issues. So yeah, I was prayed up and I just thought I'd get away from, that wasn't going to be me. It's not that I signing up to the family curse. This is all happening for my highest and best good, so I'll live to be 100. So these stories are the last couple, how do I say, visits I had with the hospital, the emergency room, and the surgery that I had. So the first tip I want to give you is one I got from a book by Alan Epstein. So write that down. And it's acknowledge the people who serve you. And this is so important. We get caught up in, oh, woe is me, and you forget that everyone that is there for your highest and best good either went to school, got master's degrees, or in debt from being in school. They are experts at their craft. Even the receptionist at the doctor's office, or the person that takes your blood at the blood bank, LabCorp, wherever you go, all of these folks are doing that because they are God-driven and it's a God talent. So really acknowledge the folks with just being pleasant. I can't tell you how I am, and especially people at the front line. I am very pleasant and hello, good morning, how you doing? Because I've seen so many folks bite their heads off or, oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh, what's going on? I've been sitting here for 3 hours. How do we go? Half the time, it's not even their fault what's going on. There's something happening behind the doors or in an office. There could be emergency. A doctor could be late. Whatever it is, be kind to the people who service you, and encourage yourself to have some awareness and choose acknowledgement of what's going on. Appreciate all the people that you encounter, and they will continue to provide you with support and love. Sometimes it's hard when you're going through something. So my first going through something is that I felt like I was going to pop. Like all of a sudden I'm blowing up from the heart situation. I go to urgent care and they're like, we're going to put you in an ambulance and send you to the hospital. So my first experience, I'm 6'5" and about 250 pounds, just a small boy. I don't fit in most beds or most ambulances. I have to keep my legs up because I have long legs. So first thing that happens, these little tiny people, and they're trained in it, are going to take me, put me in the ambulance, and take me to the hospital. So I'm just like, I'm sitting back going, okay, let me just see how they do. So I'm scared to death, of what's going to happen, but I know, I've been in enough beds and enough hospitals, and it even went back as far as college. The first time I went into my dorm room, I'm looking at this little bed and going, I'll never fit in that. So I just kind of sat quietly and really was attentive to what they were doing and kind of encouraged them. Hey, I can lift my knees up. I'm good. The blanket is fine. Okay, you strap me in. You kind of help and encourage them. I didn't want to create a negative space on, oh my God, they're gonna they're gonna drop me, or I'm not gonna get there safely. I knew what I needed to do, and I needed to create a wonderful container to get me to the hospital. So they were good, and they're like, wow, you're good at this. You're familiar with it. I'm like, yeah, this is not my first rodeo. So the second part of that, as you know, when they roll you in, if you've ever been into emergency room or come by ambulance, you go right through, they triage you. And if it's a busy hospital, you're in a hallway until they find a place to put you. So I'm sitting here and I'm all wired up, and you just start to create, or for me, I just started to create a wonderful bubble that I was in. I thanked the guys, appreciated their security and their comfort in getting me there, and they were just, hey man, take care, we hope everything works out. And that sparked the nurses and the doctors and the person who comes and takes all your information. They're like, okay, this guy's not ready to bite our heads off. He's kind of a good energy. So that's the first one I want to say. And acknowledge the people around you. Again, they're there to serve you. And even though it looks crazy or the situation is bad, it's for your highest and best good. And I'll say that a lot. Second, choosing where to focus your attention. And this is by an author, Susan Reeves, Susyn. And she's another one that wrote a book. And what this means is reminds you to cultivate your own happiness, okay? By focusing your attention on the things that elicit smiles and joy. When you're going through something, the last thing you want to do is, smile and be joyful. As I was going through my healing and getting stronger, it's very, and here's the thing, and I've learned this a lot, is when people ask you, oh, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Do you need something? I ain't never been this old before. I don't know what I need. I've never had this situation. I just don't know. I'll let you know when I'm going through this journey. So if it happens again, I'll be great. So the first thing, and one of my good friends, or it's a couple that I've actually married them, they're like, hey, well, do you need anything? I'll come over, we'll come over and bring you something. And don't be afraid to ask for toilet paper and paper towels. I needed that in my house. I didn't have an opportunity to stock up my house before I went to the hospital for 10 days. So my intention was I need to get all the paper products stocked up. So I don't know how long this journey is going to be. And it wasn't an embarrassment. Thank God they were friends. But again, trying to figure out, okay, what's going to bring me joy? What do I need? It might not be soup or somebody's food, and that's all great and wonderful. What do I need that's practical? I needed toilet paper. And boy, that Costco 20 pack toilet paper came my way. It's not the brand I like, but doesn't matter. I had it and it served its purpose. And my house it just made me laugh and smile when that thing came in my house. I don't have a lot of room to put that big old 20 pack of toilet paper, but I had enough for the 6 weeks that I was home. So again, I focused that's a humorous way to do it. But again, you focus on the things that bring you joy and help you with your situation. And it's you focusing. It's not somebody else bringing all that stuff to you. You got to focus and you got to bring the joy and the smiles to yourself. All right. So the third tip, this one's good. Give yourself daily awards for the good things that you do, whatever you're going through or when you're going through it. And this comes from a book by Drew Leder, Leder. And alert your accomplishments. Celebrate your accomplishments, those of others around you that are going through it, or actually, we talk about this in religious science. There's only one of us, so somebody else's accomplishments that you can feel that energy and get it from them, and give special grace to those that might not be at a place of excitement or celebration. Um, the key thing that for all my people that also spoke to me and helped me through this is that all those things, that even just getting up to go to the restroom on my own, finding comfort in finally having a good night's sleep. I got stronger. I can walk to the kitchen, and I can fix my own food. Those were the milestones, and those are the things that I was looking for. I'm so used to jumping out of the bed and going, and people can't help you. No one can help you for that. When they say, "Oh, what can I do for you?" Well, can you get me out of this bed? I needed to do that. I needed to experience it, and I needed to celebrate it. The last thing, and this adds to the rewards, is that my first time I was sick, it was, or the journey of after the hospital, is that it was around the holidays. So I was able to watch all the holiday shows and put on some wonderful music. The second time, and I'll tell you about the surgery I had, it was during the French Open and Wimbledon. I love tennis, and I got to get up at 3 in the morning and watch tennis without being interrupted. That was a joy. That was an accomplishment, because that helped me take my mind off of what was going on with my body as my body was healing. So the last one is called Focusing Your Attention on Prayer. And it's by a book by Frederick and Marianne Brussat, Brussat. And again, it inspires bringing a focused mind and attention to whatever your religious practices are. And I love religious science because it's a hodgepodge of old, new. We're not afraid to bring in something good, something that'll lift you up and something that'll fill you up. My favorite thing to say to people is when, especially staunch atheists, is that you go from "oh my God" when you're happy to "oh my God" when something's sad. However you get to God is fine. The old church, or I grew up Jehovah's Witness. That's a whole nother story. But you hear about, I'm going to pray to God, or, you get on your knees, or, whatever the dogma is in a religion that you grew up with. Sometimes that is what you need to call upon. And I love that religious science is fine with that. However you get to God and the God within, say it, do it, smile it, burn it, light it. And that is what you keep your focus on. I couldn't light a candle, or I couldn't get on my knees. And sometimes I didn't have an opportunity to say the affirmative prayer when I was in situations like being rolled into the emergency room. But you have these, and keep in mind the small little one words or a quick sentence to get you to prayer and get you to positive vibes and get you to God. My favorite one, and Reverend Eve at East Bay Church in Oakland, she used to tell a story about an elderly woman, and some of you might have grandmothers and grandfathers, or you still might say this. The biggest one she shared is "tain't so." So for those of you who don't know what that means, back in the day and in the South, it's just no, I'm not, that is not my truth. "Tain't so." And that's all that, and she was a practitioner who said this. She'd go and sit with somebody, and then she'd go, "Tain't so." One of my favorite is, "That's not my truth. This is not my truth." And I use that one a lot. And the last one, I said earlier, "This is for my highest and best good." It might look messy, it might look terrible. I know this is for my highest and best good. So those are prayers. Those are keeping your mind. There are opportunities to just stay focused in prayer. And when you get a chance to call your prayer partner, dial that 1-800 number for prayers. And everybody should have that on speed dial, by the way. That's an opportunity for you to get prayed up to. Again, as the ambulance is taking me to the hospital, I didn't have time to call my prayer partner. Eventually I got to him, and again, that is filling you up with the prayers you're familiar with, but find those little things to just get you there. And calling God is always good. Oh God, get me through this. So those are 4 of your tips today. And sorry that I'm looking down. I have a second computer that I have my talk on. But what I want to leave with you today is that there is no mistakes in God. And as Amber said that earlier, we were just kind of getting situated, is that the situation or whatever you're going through might look crazy or it might not feel good, but it's all God. And as religious science practitioners, this is one of the comments that we as ministers and practitioners, especially in classes, when past experiences come up, and people go, is that God? It didn't look right, or that was a terrible thing. And it's hard to say and look at them and go, yeah, it really it is. It's all God. Again, we don't want to, and I say this too to some people, I don't want to do that spiritual bypass. We have to believe and know that it is all God. But what I'm not going to put a negative on it. It's all positive. It's a lesson. It's an experience. We are replacing whatever that old stuff is inside, those old tapes. And I think you hear this a lot. So your call to action from today's talk and the rest of the whole month from definitely from Reverend Robert and Reverend Cindy and myself is this is my favorite. There is nothing to be healed, only the truth to be revealed. So any of these situations, be reminded that that's the spiritual truth that we've learned in our classes and as practitioners, and we look through when we do treatments. So Reverend Robert, Reverend Cindy, and myself, your gold medal spiritual team, like that, we know the spiritual truths for you always. Okay, we are constant. We keep the high watch. And here's the one that, and Reverend Cindy said this last week, we are all whole, perfect, and complete, just the way we are. I work with a lot of, and again, this is not a judgment, people in recovery. And the first thing they do is like, oh, I'm a addict and I'm a this and that. You're perfect. That doesn't mean you're broken. That's added to what your experience is. So I always try to make it a positive thing that, okay, you're still beautiful, you're still wonderful, you are still perfect. So whatever it looks like, whatever it smells like, whatever you're going through, negate it, especially what other people say to you about your situation. I want you to affirm that everything is for your highest and your best good. And so it is.
And so it is.
So,
Reverend,
okay, hold on. I got to close my patio, do the cat's out there because I'm using his cat stand. Let's go into a treatment. And I am excited to add, I got spiritual defibrillator, that's what I call it, spiritual defibrillator, or God, I don't even know what they call it, thing in my heart. So we are excited that it's there for, or not in my heart, in my chest. So pacemaker, God, I can't even think about it. So right here and right now, I am calling my pacemaker, the doctors, the nurses, the cardiologists, and everyone around me, and the sound of my voice. We are standing in the love and the joy that one is, God is, I am, we are. So as I, Reverend Tony Bradford, stand in line, stand in joy, stand in accordance to what that spiritual gift is, and that gift of spiritual mind, spiritual love, spiritual joy is the truth that I'm speaking right here and right now. So whatever you're going through, it is for your highest and best good. I know that, I know that, I know that. That is my truth, and it is truth for everybody at the sound of my voice. So let's just give thanks for this day, give thanks for this opportunity to be reminded. That's what I love about religious science. We practice this stuff. We add what we need. We take away what we need. We bring in what we need because it is individual and it also is all one. So my good is your good is my good. Let's speak the truth. It's not always a negative for treatment. Bring the joy in our lives. Share the good things with each and every one of us. So what's good for you is also what's good for me. It fills my heart and keeps that spirit pumped up and ready to go. So I give thanks for this whole spiritual team that just said yes to showing up and holding the high watch as Reverend Robert is enjoying his time in Italy. We are excited to just be cousins and family member, brother, sister. It's a oneness that just is joyful. And I am so grateful to give my joy and send my love to all of those that are having transitions, challenges, and just whatever it is that is serving them for their highest and best good to make sure that you truly are one with Spirit. So I give thanks for this and so much more as I release this word into the activity, love and law, letting go, letting God. And please help me seal this by saying Ashe, Amen, and so it is.
All right. Let's say together our weekly affirmation. I
I
embrace
embrace
imperfection
perfection
and
and
accept
accept
all of
all
myself.
myself.
That was so good. Let's say it again. I embrace imperfection and accept all of myself. Thank you, Reverend Tony, for the word today. That was beautiful. Now, he's in Zoom, so he can't hear us. Let's give him a round of applause so he can hear how much we appreciate him this morning. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
You're welcome. That's the only thing I miss is that the response to what I'm talking. So
Right.
I can't wait to see you all in person soon.
We can't wait to see you, cousin. Thank you so much. And now is the time that we celebrate. We get to circulate, and the law of circulation, otherwise known as graceful giving. We have a volunteer that'll pass a basket here in the sanctuary. Let's say our affirmation of abundance together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. Again, there is a basket coming around here. And let's show the slide on how people at home can give and share their abundance. Click it one more time. There we go. By mail, you can mail in a donation to the center. Physically, you can text the word give to area code 831-246-9694. That's my favorite way. Or you can go online to montereycsl.org/donate. We appreciate the gifts that you give, and 1/10 of our donations go out into our community. And if you subscribe to our newsletter, you can see where those donations go. So thank you for your spiritual tithes and offerings that help us continue to make our center and the world a world that works for everyone. Some ways to engage and connect in the community. Wrapping up as July was, or is, because we have a few more days, National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. It's always nice. I think if you're one of the ones that experience a mental health issue, then you're already aware. You're well aware that there's mental health issues in the world. And if you're not, please take the time to look into something that you may not have known. So if you encounter someone, you'll already be aware of how to make your interaction work best for them and for yourself. So let's see. I think that's all we need to say to our Facebook family. So we thank you for joining. Again, you can watch this back on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the gifts that we were given today. Thank you, Facebook.